I want to talk about something that's been circulating recently. A parent raised concerns about a story a 5-year-old was told to read in school. The story included a man punishing a dog by causing it harm. And I think this opens up a really important conversation. As a social worker, my first response was horror. However, it is important not to panic or say this should never exist. Because the truth is, children are exposed to all kinds of stories, themes, and behaviors in the world around them, and so we cannot completely shield them from that. But what we can do is to make sure that what they're exposed to is handled safely. At 5 years old, children are still developing their understanding of right and wrong. They don't always interpret stories the way adults do. They're not always thinking, this is wrong behavior. Sometimes they're just observing and absorbing. So when a story includes harm or punishment, especially without explanation, it becomes less about the story itself and more about the lack of guidance around it. And that's where we as adults come in. To parents, if your child comes across something that doesn't sit right with you, do trust your instinct. But instead of just removing the material, do sit with your child and talk through it. Those conversations are what build empathy in the child and not just the story itself. Also, I want to say this. If you are a parent who has raised a concern and you feel silenced, dismissed, or even threatened because you spoke up, I want you to know that this is not okay. Raising concerns about your child's well being is not wrongdoing, it is responsible parenting. You should not have to face intimidation for asking questions about what your child is being taught. If you ever find yourself in that position, do not engage in conflict or further escalation, but do keep records of any communication or threats. Seek support, whether from other parents, trusted community members, or advocacy groups. Where it is safe to do so, raise concerns through formal channels, and most importantly, know that your voice matters even if others try to make you feel otherwise. This is not just about one parent. This happens in many places where accountability is uncomfortable. But systems improve when people ask questions respectfully but firmly. And to those who create and approve learning materials, this is where responsibility really matters. Children's education isn't just about literacy, it's about shaping how they understand relationships, behavior, and the world around them. So, yes, we shouldn't aim to overprotect children to the point where they are disconnected from reality. But we also shouldn't present harmful behavior without context, especially to children at such a young age. There needs to be balance. Balance could look like this, including meaningful stories but with guidance, respecting culture but aligning this with child development, teaching literacy but also teaching empathy and emotional safety. Because safeguarding isn't about removing everything difficult, it's about making sure children are supported in understanding what they see and so they can learn. At the end of the day, it's not just about what children are reading, it's about what they are learning from what they read.